Hello, I am back again. Unfortunately, I'm solo again because Owen is on holiday. Didn't even know till today. I texted him. I was like, "You want to record?" And he was like, "I can't because I am on holiday." I was like, "You know what? Fair enough." So yeah, I'm recording this at 6 past 8. The Belgium game is at the 5 minute 50 mark. So I am also watching this at the same time. So any excessive reactions you will have to forgive because I also want to watch this. I'm gonna have the sound off because that's just how I tend to watch a lot of games anyway. I'll watch the highlights with the sound on just for the big moments, but I won't. A lot of the time, I'll just have the sound off. So obviously, it is the World Cup. It's now in full swing. Just missed. De Bruyne just unleashed a curling shot, which went wide right. Well, keeper's right, so wide left. If we look at it from the shooter's angle. So, yeah, he's supposed to fit through that, really. So, what was I going to say? Yes, so we are in full swing. So, this is what, day 5? You had Thursday, the weekend, Friday, and now Monday. Yeah, so this is day 5 of the World Cup. And we have had some pretty good games, and none of the favourites, well, there's only really been 2 blue chip nations, if you will, who've played, and neither of them have won. Wait, let me look through all the games just to make sure. I just want to make sure, so I've not missed anything. It's better still be going. Yeah, I've not recorded like this before, so I really hope that nothing cuts out. So if we look at this, so all the games so far. Oh yeah, Germany played. I guess Germany is still a blue chipper. They're the only one really. Are Germany still a blue chipper? Or they've been pathetic for too long? I don't know. Where's the game? There it is. So yeah, the Dutch drew. Yeah, to be fair, if I'm classing the Dutch as a bigger nation, as a blue chipper, then Germany obviously have to still be one. But Brazil, they drew 1-1. Germany beat up Curacao 7-1. That was embarrassing for Curacao. Is it though? Because they did go 1-1 at one point. The Dutch, they drew to Japan 2-2. Super disappointing. And then Spain drew 0-0 to Cape Verde. My goodness. So, yeah, rather a disappointing start for the favourites of this World Cup. But I guess that's sort of how it happens. I think Brazil are what? Still top 5-ish favourites? Top 5 to 8 favourites? I don't know. Oh god, what did that? This obsession with playing out from the back infuriates me. Like, Jesus Christ, just these crappy teams, they need to just get the ball up the field. Like, even Cape Verde earlier, they were trying to dribble out from their own 18-yard line. Like, what the hell are they doing? And then, who is it on the day on South Africa? Why are you trying to play goalkeeper pass to the number 6 straight off the bat? Like, have you lost the plot? So, yeah, that's my frustration with how teams set up in that. In terms of early impressions, so, I mean, I guess it's a bit hard. Obviously, I've got this Belgian game on at the same time. This isn't going to be a full extended watch. Like, I think I'm only going to do like 30, 40 minutes of this because I am solo. I don't really intend to cover full concepts. I'll do 30 minutes of this and probably about 20 minutes talking about the NBA. Because obviously the finals wrapped up. I really wanted Owen here for this one, but obviously he's just not available. Which really sucks because I would love to have teased him about Wemby, even though he apparently hates Wemby as an individual. Like, Wemby as a non-basketball entity, he seems to hate, but he loves him as a player, which is quite funny. So, yeah, I mean, it's been so. Mexico, they played pretty well. I mean, I don't know how much of it was just South Africa just stunk, so that really helped their cause. But oh, nice. Who's Belgium's number 10 now? With Fatzard gone, They gave the number 10 to Trossard. I thought that was Trossard. That is a choice. Yeah, I turned the game on a couple of minutes later as well. I was out. I was coming back. I went for a little drift after. I can't stand the look of this Infantino fella. Like, he looks like a vampire, mixed with a zombie and a gargoyle. Yeah, not the best looking chap. So yeah, Mexico. I mean, I have no clue why the referee was so eager to hand out red cards the other day, but like the first one I understand, right? Because it was the last man. The second one, he clipped a guy in the face. That wasn't a red card. The third one, he was about 25-ish yards away from goal, and there were other men back, so I don't know why he sent him off. Mexico, go on, Doku. Jesus Christ, this boy can move. Shifty. Oh, no, he screwed it up. So, my God, and Egypt just punted the ball right back. Oh, this is going to be an interesting game. So, Yeah, I mean, my God, the space is crazy. And that is an awful pass. This isn't going to be the best of games, I don't think. Like, at all. Which is quite disappointing. Salah scampering around. I'm sorry, I'm going to be really distracted while this is going on. That's a foul, surely. Oh, no, maybe not. So, yeah. Where was I? I'm going to lose my train of thought about 17 times during this. At least. And, oh, nice. And he lost the ball. So, big punt. So, my God, how many times have I said so in this episode? Here we go. Go on a kick. So, that's another one. My goodness. Yes, Mexico, South Africa. So that was a bit of a not a dud. It was entertaining enough first game. Then Korea beat the Chechens. Canada drew to Bosnia. The states. So I don't hate the states as a football team. Like and I actually enjoy the way they cover the game. I think it's funny because they do try some of them and they do like the sport, but it's just like if someone who doesn't know anything about basketball started talking about basketball. So it's quite entertaining. But I also just think that when the host nation has a decent team, it's always better if they do well. So I do want them to progress. I do want them to make it through to at least around a 16. I'd like it if they can make it further, then great, depending on who they play. Obviously, I wouldn't mind them knocking out one of the potential rivals to France winning. So I was happy to see them win. And obviously, they played an entertaining brand of football the other day. Like, they won 4-1. They scored a bunch of goals. They really could have scored more. There was a few memes about them being 70 Brazil or 2010 Spain. My goodness. Roast chicken coming back up. Oh, good carrying. Unlucky on the foul. So I was... My goodness, I'm tired. So I was glad to see them win. Paraguay aren't going to offer much opposition. They should finish top of the group. I expect them to because I don't think Australia... Who do Australia have next? I think they have the States next. Yeah, so if the US beat Australia, then they will finish top of the group because I don't think they'll lose to Turkey. I think the US will end up on 7 points, which will leave them with a nice spot. Australia really did a good job in terms of doing what they needed to do against Turkey because Turkey obviously dominated the ball. They kept control of possession, but they just didn't have enough cutting edge going the other way. Australia went the other way, capitalised on the chances. Obviously, the first one was just a big, monstrous counter attack. They did their job. Morocco. Brazil were peppered in the first half. They were pants. Like, they really could have been 3 or 4 down inside the first 30 minutes before they... When did Vinny score? 30th? Yeah, 32. Before Vinny scored, they really could have been 2 goals down. 2, 3, 4 goals down, which was pretty disgraceful. So that doesn't help their case. Scotland beat Haiti. Germany slapped up Curacao. The Dutch were really disappointing in terms of the fact that they let 2 leads slip. Off of 2, frankly, really good goals. As in that the Dutch scored, but ultimately it didn't matter in the end because they just gave up silly goals the other way. And yet the Japanese, they're nice, they're tidy, they're technical. They gave Germany and Spain trouble in the previous World Cup, but they just shouldn't have the physical levels to be able to compete with the behemoths that the Dutch have. Ivory Coast beat Ecuador. Nice. Amad Diallo, 90th minute winner. Always nice to see them in the World Cup. Sweden. So Liverpool fans must be very happy because Isak scored and he got a couple of assists. Gyökeres scored, he got an assist. Oh, Egypt 30 yards from goal. So that was nice. And then Spain, Cape Verde. So listen, I wanted to quickly just run through all those games just because who on earth is this Belgian coach? I have never seen this man before in my life. So I deliberately skipped through those games. Spain, this is why I hate when people talk about football like it's only about the technical ballers. No, you need guys that can run at people. You need guys who can stretch the field. Yes, Yamal is a football genius, but at the same time, for his age, relatively, he's just a monster in general, but he's not a flat-out genius yet. He is someone who can pick up the ball, he can run with the ball, he can turn on the jets, and he attracts people to him, and he does all this pity-patty, tippy-tappy nonsense where players are keeping the ball and huddling within the same 15, 20-yard radius and just passing the ball between themselves. The reason why it's never going to win unless you have an absolute monstrous forward. My God. How is that not a foul? I mean, I don't mind the fact that the refs are letting these guys play this tournament. No! What, is he actually injured? Or is he just... Or does his leg just hurt? Let's see. I really hope he's not too badly. Oh no, I think he's alright. Let's see. Replay time. Oh, I just got ankle trapped. I mean, I don't mind the fact that the refs are letting these guys play. I really don't. My God, that was dangerous. I like it because ultimately we like to see the game flow. I like to see the game not being broken up. Obviously, some teams use it as a scheme. I don't think the Egyptians are here. It just so happens that, refs are letting them play in this tournament, which is a good thing. So, next time I was going to say, yeah, look, so like Spain, they have Pedri, Oyarzabal, Gavi, Fabian Ruiz, Rodri, missing someone, Ferran Torres. Like, Ferran Torres is probably the closest thing you have to a runner in that team. And they just don't look very dangerous at all. You can have all the passes, you can have all the possession in the world. If you don't have guys that are going to stretch the backline, are going to stretch the opposition, then frankly, it does not matter what you end up doing. It doesn't matter how much you have the ball, because ultimately the team can always get out on the other end. Cape Verde, on the other hand, they just had a bunch of runners everywhere. They didn't have much technical quality at all. Because if they did, they probably would have won that game. But they really, really defended. Good pass. They defended. Oh, unlucky. Nah, that's not foul. Shut up, Kevin. They really defended well. Like, it was super impressive what they got up to. I don't normally enjoy defending, but I guess when it's a team that you don't expect to do much of anything. I mean, in the first 30 minutes, I was like, yeah, go on, Spain, wrap this up early. Because I was doing something else at the same time, so I didn't want to. I was like, this game's over quickly, then fair enough. I don't want this to be like a dodgy 2-0 where they're just peppering them for 60 minutes, then they score a third in the 85th minute. They were genuinely defending really, really well, Cape Verde. And they had a few moments, particularly in the final 15 minutes, where if they just had a bit of extra quality, then they really could have. The defence was really well marshalled. The goalkeeper was keeping a hold of things. The keeper made a few nice saves, particularly in the first half. And for the first 70 minutes or so, Spain only really had one real chance. Like, their biggest offensive threat was Marc Cucurella, who has ended up at Real Madrid somehow. I will cover Real Madrid after the World Cup because I have no clue what they're up to. So, my God, they've really signed Marcus. So they've signed Cucurella, Denzel Dumfries, and they've got Konate on his way. And they're probably going to sign, by all accounts, they're going to go after a centre-back as well. So, let's see. By the sounds of things, it's going to be Schlotterbeck. My God, they're up to something there, aren't they? Mourinho's going to play like 8 centre-backs or something. So, the next thing I was going to say. Yeah, so their biggest threat was their left-back, who was running behind. And Pedri and Rodri found him with a few nice passes. So that was positive to see. Obviously, the biggest chance of the game for them was Rodri plays a scoop pass over to Cucurella, knocks it down. And the striker, because the keeper dived at his feet, he was fantastic, by the way. He'll probably end up getting out. I thought the centre back was probably a bit better just because I didn't think the keeper had a huge amount to do. But the goalkeeper dives at the guy and he kicks it onto the crossbar as opposed to going hard and low. And that. Oh, what a goal! Egypt just scored. 20th minute. Why is he doing the Conor McGregor dance? Jesus. World Cups are different, man. So, I don't even need to explain it because you guys will all watch the highlights anyway. Because if you're watching this, you obviously watch the football. My God, Egypt are really winning. So, he takes a check inside and he just rasps it in the bottom, in the keeper's right corner. Great finish. So, my God, who's this coach? Would this be Egypt's first win of the World Cup? Oh, I know we're really early. Like, I'm really getting ahead of myself here, but yeah, Salah brushes it over, one touch, bang, yeah. Eesh, lovely finish. Could Courtois have done a bit better? Possibly, but that's a great finish. That's a great goal. Let's have a look. Have they ever won a World Cup game? No. Well, not on record anyway. There was a knockout game in 34 that they lost 4-2. I don't know what the format was back then, though. Round of 16 single leg, I don't know. Like, what happened? The Egyptian coach had sniffed his hands. So, yeah, they've not won a World Cup game. So, they drew twice and lost once. and they only scored twice, and they only scored once in the 1990 edition in Italy. And then Yuri Tielemans sucked that. I don't like Tielemans. He's a bit of a rat. And they also only scored 2 goals in the previous edition in the previous edition they played in Russia, because they lost 3-1 to Russia, and then they lost 2-1 to Saudi Arabia, and they also lost 1-0 to Uruguay because Jose Maria Jimenez. So they have not had a World Cup point since June 17th, 1990. Now it's June 15th, 2026. That's a long time. So, my God, that was a tough World Group. They had Netherlands and in the they had Netherlands and Netherlands in group. That's a tough group. Even then, when the Dutch, I don't think they were as good. No, because they had Van Basten. Yeah, that's a tough team. I'm waffling at the same time. Like I'm already done 15 minutes there, so yeah, like you need ultimately runners and athletes, and the Spanish didn't have enough of them. Nico, like as soon as Yamal came on, like if Yamal was there for even an entire half, I think that game swings differently, and I think they generate more chances to go. Oh, they got lucky there. Yeah, man. Nice work from Salah winning that foul as well. So yeah, I expect Spain to, with the increased minutes that Yamal and Nico Williams will get. Oh, it's the hydration break. Oh yeah, this hydration break's so weird. Like some of the games aren't even that hot, and there's air conditioning in the stadium. It's almost just acts as full quarters. It's stupid. And I don't even mind the American stuff. It's just if you're going to do it, you should stop the clock because everyone has it. So this is stupid. I'm going to make a short about that. I'm going to waffle about that. So yeah, next thing I was going to say. So yeah, if they had Yamal on for probably about maybe even a full half hour, like maybe they get away with something there. Because within the first 2 minutes of him, he skips past someone, generates a chance, and they ended up getting a chance from there. They had another one where Olmo hit, I think it was a Yazabal, and that was again off of Yamal's gravity with the ball. So yeah, De La Fuente, he needs to be prepared to up Yamal's minutes because ultimately they will make it out the group just because of how almost inconsequential the group stage is now. Like as long as you don't lose 2 games, you're fine. Like if you just lose 1 game and you end up on 4 points, I think it's like a 90-something% chance you end up going through, just because of how it all works out. So yeah, just don't lose the rest of them. Nice. You really sets it out his feet, he just wraps it in the bottom corner. Yeah, that's a beautiful goal, man. Great work. So yeah, so on the whole, I was really disappointed with how Spain played. You'd expect them to be able to beat up on Cape Verde, even without. Yeah, this Conor McGregor, like, what are you doing, lad? He clearly watched a bit of UFC. Who's he going to be? This guy looks about 23 or something. Anyway, so the next thing that I want to talk about is the NBA. So we'll see how this goes with me watching the Belgium Egypt game at the same time. I really was disappointed with the way that the Spurs acquitted themselves. Obviously, they blew an incredibly large lead. Iran, New Zealand at 2 o'clock in the morning, or three. I don't know. Whatever time that game starts. There are some people. I'm tired. If you can't tell, there are some people who they make it their mission to watch every single World Cup game. I have no clue how they do it. Really, like, I mean, I did it when I was 7 years old. Was I 7? Yeah, I was 7 in 2009 for the South Africa World Cup. Why on earth are some people watching just random games like that? Like, especially grown adults. Like, I get it's the World Cup, but at the same time, it's like, have some elitism about you. Like, we watch this to watch the biggest and best players do whatever they want to do, not to watch Curacao matchup against Cape Verde. Now, hey, that might be an interesting match because at least both teams would attack more a bit then, but Jesus Christ. So, yeah, the Spurs, I was really disappointed in how they acquitted themselves. I can't, when was it? Did me and Owen record after game 2 or was it game 3? I think it was after game 3 because we did the game 4 predictions and then Ananobi. Yes, I know where we are now. So there was only 2 finals games after we last recorded. So obviously the Spurs shot like a house on fire to start the game. They shot 14 for 20 in the first half. When we got away with a few flagrants across time, my God, what is he doing? My God, that was a hospital pass. So yeah, I was really disappointed with how the Spurs did. They blew a 30-point lead. Fox made a bunch of stupid plays. Wembanyama, he showed his deficiencies as a scorer. Game 5, similar situation, just Jalen Brunson went crazy shooting the ball. Like, I don't want to spend too long on this just because obviously it is World Cup season now, but I do just want to put a bow on this NBA season. I was really disappointed, like how Wemby did. So my flaws with Wemby the entire time have been I think he's overrated both as an offensive player and a defensive player, while also being the best player in the world. Which sounds really, really counterintuitive, but it makes sense in my head. So, is he the best defender in the world? Yes. But he also has flaws defensively which can be taken advantage of that aren't just to do with the conditioning, such as he's skinny. That's not a foul. Yeah, keep going. I like these referees so far, man. Both games I've watched today and the other games I've watched throughout this, they're not making these games all choppy with ticky tack fouls and stuff like that. Oh, lovely ball, lovely idea from De Bruyne. Unlucky. So yeah, so the flaws with Wemby were the fact that I think that individually he's a bit skinny. I think girthy guys can get after him, which is why I thought he could struggle against certain guys on both ends. And then offensively, he tries to play like a guard, and he plays against the things that make him great, which seems to be a problem among a lot of stars today. So Giannis, he actively goes against what makes him great, which is being a short roll man and being a wrecking ball on the defensive end, and instead he wants to handle the ball like he's LeBron James or Magic Johnson. Or you get cross sport, you get Kylian Mbappe, who thinks that the best way for him to succeed is to be a ball dominant, heavy touch guy for Real Madrid, even though if he was off the ball, I don't know. I've never seen it with Tielemans the way that some other people have. Good save keeper, even in the face of a foul. So, oh, I've got hair in my mouth. Nasty. So, what was the next thing I was going to say? Who's this? Oh, you can reply later. So, yeah, so I was never as high on Wemby as other people were, defensively, and definitely not offensively. Like, the way that people would talk about Wemby offensively is that the guy is Kevin Durant mixed with Hakeem Olajuwon, mixed with Giannis. And it's the guy couldn't be further from that. Like he doesn't have the raw upper body strength that you really need as a top tier post player. So the Spurs also all of a sudden have to scheme around that. He doesn't have go to moves 18, 20 feet from the basket. His footwork isn't great. He's gangly. He's off balance a lot of the time. Not a lot of the time, but he's off balance enough of the time. And his handle isn't good enough to be able to get him real separation or really be able to blow past guys in the ways that you would really want from a top tier scoring threat, which sucks. Because ultimately, if you had those things, and Giannis's handle to get to the rim is very, very good. Kevin Durant's handle, my God, Doku. Kevin Durant's handle to be able to beat a guy off the bounce to get a bit of separation to be able to get his jump shot off is great. And then he doesn't have the strength. And Kevin Durant's footwork to be able to generate just a small piece of separation is great. He doesn't have that either. His main strength, and he plays too far from the basket as well. So the thing is, because he's 7'6", he can get away with things. He can get away with not having elite footwork. He can get away with, this number 8's good, man. I don't even know his name because it sounds off. He's the guy who scored as well. So he can move well. He moves nicely. He's got blonde tips in his hair. He's a bit silly, but nice player. So, I really am tired. So yeah, my issue with Wemby is that he goes against what makes him really good. So, and this is the other thing that actually really annoyed me during the season while it was going on. People were giving him props for his game allowing other people to get it off. It's not some egalitarian thing. It wasn't something that he was doing because he felt bad for the rest of the guys and he was doing it. No, he can't do it. His handle's not good enough. As a passer, he's not good enough, and he doesn't see the floor well enough. He's an okay passer when it comes to the 2-on-1 and making little dump downs or kicking the ball out on the 2v1 when the double comes. That's about it. He's not someone who can help you control an offense. He's not someone who I'd trust in high pick and roll, which is fine, by the way. But he's not some elite playmaker, and he's not someone who I'd really trust as a mass isolation scorer out from beginning from 30 feet. That's interesting. I would trust Wemby. The Spurs should be using him Kevin Garnett is sort of a lost thing. Everyone talks about Kevin Garnett, especially these new age nerds for the defensive end type of things, because he's all switchable and he's a nice passer. Ultimately, Kevin Garnett's bread and butter was mid range stuff. His scoring bag wasn't a. Nah, I'm lucky. Scoring bag was in the mid range. He was someone who you get the ball to 20, 22, 24 feet and let him go from there. He's not going to be dribbling an absolute bucket ton. Dribbling is exhausting at the best of times. Wemby shouldn't be having to do that. Wemby, when he gets the ball, he should be taking one, max two dribbles, because he's just so long it doesn't matter. He can either shoot over the guy, or you can take one dribble and step around the guy. And instead, what he's doing, he's taking 17 dribbles. I was about to say touches. Force I have it. He's taking 17 different dribbles, and he's taking far too long to get into his action, and ultimately it's just more exhausting for him to be able to do the things that he needs to do as an offensive threat. He needs to get off the ball, and the Spurs need to do a better job of getting him into position. They needed to be running off-ball flares. They needed to be running off-ball cross-screen so he can pick up the ball and just turn and shoot. They need to be running him off of picks. They need to be running him off of little curl action, but within the mid-range. So, I mean, just basic little pin downs where he catches the ball, he can turn, he can face. If the guy's there, take one dribble around. They need to be doing that. But instead, the Spurs, they're too obsessed with doing this 5-out egalitarian maximum efficiency offense. But ultimately, come playoff time, that accidental basketball stuff eventually will bite you in the ass. We've only really had one team win that way, and that's Boston in 2024. I think I've quickly run over this before, but in 20... So, if we take... So Daryl Morey is really the point. So the 17 Rockets are probably the first point. So the first year of the Durant Steph Warriors, they had a healthy balance of mid-range threes, inside, isolation, ball movement, all of it. That's why they were the best team ever, because of the fact that they would also do things that weren't necessarily high analytic offense, but they were things which you can get a bucket. 2018, similar story. Obviously, the Rockets, their identity was the shooting threes, but that's ultimately what cost them the series in the end, even if they might have been a good matchup and been able to beat the Golden State Warriors. 2019, the Raptors' identity. We're going to play fast, we're going to slow down, we're going to get the ball in the half court, we're going to rely on Kawhi and Kyle Lowry, and we're going to win the game that way. 2020, Lakers. We're going to run isolation work through AD. LeBron's going to get us a good shot every time down the floor. We're going to win that way. 2021, it's Drew, Middleton, you guys create. Giannis is on roll duty, cleanup duty, transition duty. Everything else around, he's going to fill in all the gaps. 2022, Warriors. Ball movement, playing movement, shooting threes with Steph, but it wasn't accidental. That was a very gritty title win they had. That was the most. My God, I praise this fool. He gives the ball away from a bloody corner on a short corner. Now Doku's on the move. That's a good foul. That is. That's a good foul. That is. Yeah, good foul. Doku was away. So, then you get 2023, the Nuggets, ball movement, player movement, Jokic, everything's inside the post, everyone touches the ball, but everything has to go through Jokic, which is, again, yeah, he got the ball there. This fella didn't get the ball there. Yeah, I took him out. That's disgraceful. I don't know how you're arguing that, Mr. Egypt coach. And then 2024, who was 24? Boston. Boston were the team who sort of went to accidental basketball, where it was you just rely on the analytics. It's layups, threes, that's it. Occasional mid-range, but really it's just layups and threes. They're the only team that want to time. 2025, the Thunder, they shoot inefficient shots sometimes. And then obviously this year with the Knicks, they shoot plenty of inefficient shots in the form of Jalen Brunson, and it just doesn't matter. So, again, you're not going to win playing this way. Teams need to abandon it. And the Spurs, okay, they got to the finals doing it, but they weren't. But they lost in 5. And if you can say, oh, but all 4 of their losses were close. Yeah, they were. But in the margins, accidental basketball is not going to be precise basketball. And people say, oh, but the precise stuff shouldn't have worked analytically. Shot quality, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the Cavs shot quality, my God, Salah. Awful pass. Shot quality for the Cavs were better than the Knicks. They won that series based on shot quality. Guess what? They were at home sipping Mai Tais with everyone else. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about generate the best shot for yourself, give you the best chance to win, and play into your player's strengths. Because ultimately, one shot is not the same for the other. People say all about analytics. It's like, oh, but it's based off your points per shot on this, that, and the rest of it. It's like, okay, fine. But ultimately, the most efficient shot ends up being a 3 or a layup anyway. Even for a guy like Jalen Brunson, who is a good mid-range shooter. So what? He should eliminate that. He should listen to the nerds and play analytically clean basketball, and instead he plays a worse brand of basketball that will lead to less wins for the Knicks. That's what he should do. So he should embrace all of these nerdy analytic warriors. No, the Knicks did the right thing. Accidental basketball needs to be on its way out. Wemby and the Spurs, they need to take more of a deliberate approach. They need to be running him through screens. They need to be running him off pin downs, post ups, even without him taking a lot of bruising. And speaking of planning for Wemby, fix the man's conditioning. Okay, you're playing him 32 minutes a night. You need to build up his conditioning to the point where he can play 36 in the regular season, and then he can get up to 40, 42 in the playoffs. All the best players could do it, right? And it's not just a big man thing. Whether that's you get him in the swimming pools or on the treadmills or the stairmaster. Nice pass. Tielemans again. I don't rate this guy. Never have. That's not a head injury. What are you doing? See, he's fine. I hate when refs stop the game for this. So, Tielemans is the captain? Actually, no, to be fair, after De Bruyne's outburst last time, I can hardly blame him. Yeah, I can't stand it when these guys, they end up... Where was I? I really forgot where I was. I was someone to... yes, conditioning. And this, whether it's... Or you need to just change the way that you guys play. Because ultimately, if you change the way that you guys play, and there's more of a chance at him being healthy and rested come playoff time, then do it. Like, you don't need to maximize the amount of points that you get every single possession. You can still get 60 wins and play a different type of way. You don't need to increase variance. You should be looking to decrease variance and take advantage of the fact that you have unquestionably one of the 5 best players in the sport. Okay? Without question. Right? Really, it's one of the... I think Giannis is sort of eliminated from the best player in the world conversation until further notice. Probably similar thing with Luka. But Luka hasn't really had playoff horror shows. Like, he's been eliminated early, but he's not had a horror show. Onana is so long. Like, he's like an octopus. Like, Doku's here. Oh, he scuffed it, Trossard. I don't trust that man. Is he going to hit it? No, he's not. He resisted. So, yeah, I don't understand why this analytic style offense, why would you take away what makes your star so great? Because you want to maximize everyone else. Like, it doesn't make sense. You put the ball in the best player's hands and you maximize how they can get the most out of their touches. Not how you can get the most out of everyone's touches. Because ultimately, the stars are what win you the games, not the team. People talk about the teams. The role players help. The role players help keep you in and around it. Right? It's very rare that you're going to win you it. Right? People talk about Anunoby, fine. Ultimately, the Knicks won those games. That's not a foul. That's not a foul! The Knicks won these games because of the fact that they had stars who performed, and they had a star who was a real one on the offensive end, and the Spurs just didn't. So what the Spurs need to do is focus on getting Wemby to that position where he can be that, and focus on getting his conditioning up. On the Knicks, so I've been following. This is my 10th year, 11th, 10th or 11th full year of watching the NBA. The Knicks stunk for the first 6 years while I was watching it. From 6 or 7 years I was watching the NBA, and the Knicks stunk for all of them. Like, they were just awful. They were a laughing stock. Because you had the 1 year with Carmelo and the quote-unquote big three with D Rose and Porzingis. And then you had a bunch of other nonsense going on. Obviously, you had Joakim Noah as well. You had the Phil Jackson stuff. You had the whole posse comment. I just thought Kung Fu Dino posse. Because I used to watch that show when I was a kid. Like, I legitimately thought that this is just a mess. Like, why does everyone care so much about this franchise? They're just a mess. And then obviously everything's magnified there. They get Jalen Brunson there because the Mavs didn't or couldn't pay him. I forget which way it was. Excuse me. So the Mavs either couldn't or wouldn't pay him. And that ultimately got them to a point where they had to... where he was on his way out. Oh, that's dangerous. And then they get to a point where Jalen Brunson goes and they gradually just build and build and build and build. And I remember saying to my cousin last summer that I think they made a mistake trading all those picks for Bridges because ultimately now you could have Giannis on the board. But Bridges was huge because Bridges shoots the ball at a good enough clip, and he's a all-league defender. That's a good word to get a goal kick. He's an all-league defender. Karl Anthony Towns, who I have ragged on for years, he had an excellent playoff run. Big, strong, good passer, good finishing at the rim, taking it into Wemby's chest, making it uncomfortable for him. Fantastic work from him. Obviously, you got the other guys in and around the roster as well. You got OG Anunoby, who you got from some. I can't remember if you went from the Raptors to elsewhere. You have so many different types of guys that fill out the roster, and that's got them at a point where they can now proudly say, yeah, they won the title. Was it a bit of a magic carpet ride? Yes. Does anyone care? No, because no one's even made back-to-back finals. Before this year, no one had even made back-to-back. No one had even made the conference finals after winning a title. Do you understand how insane that is? Players weren't even getting close back to where they needed to be to win a title. Because the Raptors made it to Game 7 of the second round. The Lakers lost in the first round. Obviously, even the Warriors in 2018. The Warriors 2018, they lost in the finals, fine. But even they lost in, Game 6, and really it should have been 5. If they hadn't rushed Durant back for that game, which ultimately led to his pop Achilles and him losing a year at the peak of his powers. Go on, Salah. Such a scamper. So, 2021, Bucks lose second round, Game 7. 2023, Warriors, they lose in 6 to the Lakers in the second round. Nuggets, they lose in 7 in the second round. Lots of these, my goodness, man, some of these passes. So bad. 2023, Nuggets losing Game 7 in 2024 to the Wolves. 2024, Boston. No one would have predicted them losing to the Knicks in, was it 5 or 6 games in the end? Like, it's insane. And then in 2025, the Thunder were really the first team to make it back to the conference final since the Warriors in 2019. De Bruyne just floored one of his own players because he sent a rocket in their ass. That's great. Oh, unlucky. That was a nice idea, that. This number 8's nice, man. He does some dumb stuff sometimes, but he's a good player. So, yeah, I really, like... Where am I even going with this? Yeah, shut up, Doku. Get up. Let the players play. So, yeah, I was really disappointed with... disappointed, yeah. So yeah, the Knicks, it doesn't really matter. Like, even if this is just the one title, like, if it's a big party just for the next 12 months they have, or the next 5 months, 6 months they have in New York, you retool, you rebuild the roster, and you get to a point now where you can contend again next year, maybe. Absolutely fantastic. And if not, you've got your title, off your pop. That's enough memories, right? Who's going to win the title next year? Who knows? We've not even had a repeat final. Have we even had a team get back to the finals? I think it's only the Heat. I think it is only the Heat. Oh, good goalkeeping. And they obviously never even won a title. So, again, it doesn't even matter. So, what we really need to see is a team actually make a good run. Oh, no, the Lakers did make a conference final after the fact, but they made it 3 years after they won their initial title in the first place. Oh, go on. Set Salah. Oh, no. Set Salah away. Go on, number 8. I still have no clue what this fella's name is. They don't show the scorebug after every 10 minutes. It's really annoying. Not even the scorebug. There's the little thing saying who scored the goal. That'd be really hard. And I get it. I have SofaScore, but at the same time, I'm watching this at the same time. I'm talking, so I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I'm really disappointed with So yeah, it's like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the Knicks aren't going to win again." It's like, okay, but they won this year, and that's what matters, right? So what the Knicks should do is they should just enjoy the title and then go on to whatever's next for them. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. Purely because I am waffling a bit now. I've gone for 40 minutes. I'm going to get this uploaded basically right away. So yeah, I will talk to you again soon. And I will see you in the short video, which... That's going to go up tomorrow. Because, yeah, that's going to go up tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.